You walk into the range, the sun's harsh light hanging in the air, filtering through the dusty windows. The rhythmic crack of gunfire creates an oddly peaceful hum in the background. You're just like everyone else here, just another face among the shooters. The targets stand still, awaiting their fate, just as you did once, standing still, waiting, thinking you knew who you were. But today isn't like every other day. No, today something changes. You're dressed in your usual gear, simple, functional, the same you've worn for years. The air is filled with the smell of gunpowder and metal, a familiar scent that brings a quiet, comforting rush to your chest. The sound of your own breathing is steady, even as the noise from the other lanes rattles your nerves. The usual routine feels right. Set your sights, adjust your stance, and let everything else fade away. Then, as your finger pulls the trigger, you feel the weight of eyes on you. It's a subtle thing, a shift in the atmosphere that makes you pause for just a fraction of a second. Your shot is perfect, as usual, but there's something about this moment that feels different. You glance up from your target, and there he is. A SEAL commander, tall, broad, with a face that looks like it's seen more than its share of battles. It's impossible not to notice him. There's something commanding about his presence, something that makes every other person in the room fade into the background. And for a moment, he's watching you. Not in a way that feels intrusive, but with an intensity that makes your stomach tighten. You've seen that look before, a mix of curiosity and recognition. You wonder if he can tell. The ink on your arm, usually hidden beneath the sleeves of your shirt, is exposed as you shift your grip on the rifle. A few bold symbols etched into your skin, a mark of your past, stand out as you raise your arm. He notices it, his gaze immediately drawn to the tattoo. You can't read his expression, but it's like he's trying to piece something together. You don't make eye contact, choosing instead to focus on your target, but the thought lingers in your mind. What does he see? For a moment, everything else fades. The sound of the shots, the hum of the range, it all becomes secondary. You wait. You hold your breath. What does he know about you? And why does it feel like this could be the start of something new? That tattoo is more than ink. It's the story of your life, the choices you made, the battles you fought, both seen and unseen. It's not just a reminder of what you've been through. It's a piece of armor, a way to keep the past from swallowing you whole. You remember when you first got it, the night you decided you needed to carry it with you forever. Back then, it was about resilience, marking the end of a chapter. The tattoos were a symbol of survival, a small mark that said, "I made it." But now, looking at it through his eyes, you wonder, does it still hold that same meaning? Does he see the soldier you once were, or does he see something else entirely? You try to shake the thought off, focus on the task at hand, but it's hard to ignore the SEAL commander's presence. He's still watching you from across the room. His eyes don't leave the tattoo, and you feel the weight of it like never before. You can't help but wonder what he's thinking. His silent observation feels like a test, a challenge you didn't sign up for, but you can't back down. Not now, not when he's so close. You don't want to engage, but the curiosity in his gaze pulls at something deep within you. The commander takes a step forward, and you feel a strange shift in the air. His voice cuts through the noise like a blade. "Nice work," he says, his voice calm but authoritative. "You ever consider taking your skills to a different level?" His words hang in the air between you, and for a moment you forget how to breathe. The offer is sudden, unexpected, and entirely out of the blue. You don't know how to respond. You've been out of the game for years, living a quiet life, far removed from the chaos of the world you once knew. The last time you wore a uniform, you thought you left it behind for good. It's been a while since the missions, the constant danger, the sense of purpose. You've spent these years in relative peace, trying to put the pieces of your life back together. But now, here's a SEAL commander, a stranger, asking if you've ever thought about returning to that world. For a split second, you think about declining, about brushing him off and walking away. But the way he looks at you, the respect, the understanding, the recognition, it stops you. There's something in his gaze that makes you think he knows exactly who you are. He's not here to judge you. He's here to see something, to ask something. "I'm not sure what you mean," you finally say, trying to keep your voice steady. His eyes narrow slightly, as if considering your response. Then he steps closer, just enough so that the two of you are no longer surrounded by the noise of the range. His voice is quieter now, almost confidential. "I've seen your kind before," he says, the words heavy with meaning. "You think you're done. You think the war's over. But it's never really over, is it? You don't walk away from something like that. You just adapt, and I can see it in you. You've got something that a lot of people don't. You've got what it takes to serve again." Your mind races, the walls you've built up over the years threatening to crumble. You want to laugh it off, to tell him that he's wrong, that you're just a regular person trying to live a quiet life. But deep down, you know he's not entirely wrong. Something stirs in you, a spark, a flicker of something that hasn't been active in years. You try to ignore it, but it's there, growing stronger with every word he speaks. His gaze doesn't waver. He's waiting for your response, and for the first time in years, you feel the weight of the decision before you. You remember the moments of doubt when you first left the military, the questions about whether you'd made the right choice. You thought you'd found peace in the quiet, in the simplicity of a life without combat. But now, with the commander standing in front of you, offering you a way back into that world, the doubts resurface. "I'm not the same person I was," you say quietly, almost to yourself. He nods as if he understands. "That's not a bad thing," he replies, his voice gentle but firm. "People change, but the skills you've got, they never go away." You want to argue, to tell him that those skills were buried deep in the past, hidden beneath years of normal life. But something in the way he looks at you silences the words before they leave your mouth. He's right. There's a part of you that hasn't changed, a part of you that still holds the drive, the instinct, the strength you once had. "Think about it," the commander says. "It's not about glory. It's about purpose. And that's something you never lose." You stand there, the weight of his words sinking in. You think about the quiet life you've built for yourself. You think about the people who depend on you now, the life you've carved out of the ashes of your past. You think about the choice you made when you hung up your uniform, the sense of finality that came with it. But you also think about the fire that still burns deep inside, the fire that never really went out. You think about the part of you that still craves the challenge, the adrenaline, the purpose that comes with serving something greater than yourself. For a moment, the two of you just stand there, silently understanding what's at stake. The noise of the range fades into the background, and you're left with only the sound of your own thoughts. You don't know what your decision will be yet, but you know that something is shifting inside of you. And the commander, with all his quiet conviction, has set that shift in motion. You try to shake off the commander's words, but they cling to you, swirling around in your mind like a relentless storm. It's a feeling you know all too well, the urge to keep moving, to keep pushing, to keep fighting. For years you've buried that part of yourself, tucked it away in a box with the memories of battles long past. But now, standing in front of this man, it all feels close again, too close. The rest of the day at the range blurs together. You shoot, you focus, you try to clear your head. But no matter how many rounds you fire, you can't erase the commander's gaze. Every shot feels like a reminder of the decision you'll have to make. As you pack up, preparing to leave, the thought of walking away from the commander's offer begins to weigh heavily on you. It's not just the invitation, it's the recognition he's given you. In his eyes, you're not just another ex-soldier. You're someone who still has value, someone who could still contribute, still fight for something bigger than herself. You can't deny that part of you is tempted. There's a pull, a tug deep inside, urging you to take the leap. But at the same time, you feel the weight of your years of peace, the life you've built in the absence of the battlefield. You've fought for so long, sacrificed so much. Maybe this is your time to just be. You step outside into the cool evening air, your breath steady as you exhale. The parking lot is nearly empty, the sound of distant cars humming in the background. You pause, the weight of the decision heavy in your chest. You could just get in your car and drive away, leave this all behind. It's tempting, so tempting. You've done it before. You've walked away from the military, from the chaos, from the endless push to prove yourself. But then you remember the reason you got the tattoo in the first place, the reason you walked away in the first place. It wasn't just about leaving behind the violence or the fear. It was about leaving a piece of yourself behind, a piece that didn't belong in that world anymore. The world you walked into now, the one filled with normal, quiet moments, this life, this calm, is something you earned. Still, you can't shake the feeling that you're being asked to choose again. Choose between what you know now and what you used to be. A part of you wants to reach out and take the commander's hand, to let him lead you back into that world. But another part of you fears what that would mean. You've worked so hard to find peace, to heal from the wounds you thought would never close. What if going back means opening those wounds again? You reach for your phone, needing to talk to someone. But there's no one in your life who can really understand. They see the calm, the steady version of you, the person who's made a life outside of the military. They see the quiet woman at the range, not the soldier who once carried a heavy burden of duty. Who could understand? As your fingers hover over the screen, you remember your fellow veterans, the ones who still fight in ways the world will never understand. Some of them never left the fight, not truly. Others have rebuilt their lives, but the scars are still there. The quiet, invisible scars, the ones that never show on the outside. Maybe you aren't the only one caught between two worlds. Maybe everyone who's ever worn a uniform carries this tug of war inside them. The soldier and the civilian, the past and the present, the duty and the peace. But is it possible to have both? Can you step into one world again without losing the other? A part of you wants to laugh at the thought. The world doesn't work like that. You can't just decide to pick up a gun again and expect to return to the same version of yourself. You've changed. The world has changed. Everything has shifted. And yet, there's still that whisper, that call deep within you. Before you can think too much about it, the phone buzzes in your hand. It's a message from a group chat you've barely paid attention to in weeks. It's a thread of familiar names, old friends from your days in service. They're joking, talking about the good old days, sharing stories of missions long past. You can hear their voices in the text, loud, brash, full of life. And then, amidst the laughter and the stories, one message stands out. Got the call today. Looks like they want us back. You don't have to read any further to know what it means. It's the same call, the same invitation, the same offer the commander gave you. You feel the weight of the decision again. It's a decision you thought you'd already made, but now it feels impossible. You stare at your phone, the silence around you pressing in. You're not sure what you're looking for, what you hope to find. The words are still fresh on the screen, the question still hanging in the air. What now? The wind picks up, and for the first time all day, you realize just how quiet it is. It's like the world is holding its breath, waiting for you to make up your mind. You don't know how much time passes, but eventually you know what you need to do. It's not about going back to the past, and it's not about rejecting it either. It's about finding the right path forward, the one that keeps you true to yourself while allowing you to live with purpose. And as you drive away from the range, your heart steady in your chest, you understand something. It's not about choosing between two lives. It's about forging a new one. One that honors the warrior you were and the person you've become. You may not have all the answers, but you know you'll find your way, because in the end, that's what soldiers do. They keep moving forward. The decision lingers in your mind, like a ghost that follows you everywhere you go. Every moment is filled with the weight of it. You don't want to admit it, but the thought of returning to the field, of answering that call, of slipping back into the world of duty and honor, it tugs at you in ways you never expected. You thought you'd left that life behind for good, but here it is again, knocking on your door. The quiet life you've built for yourself is a far cry from the chaos of the past. You've found peace in the simplicity of routine. No more constant movement, no more uncertainty. But this decision, it's not just about you. It's about the people who count on you now, the ones who are unaware of the life you once lived, the life that feels like a distant memory, something far removed from the person you are now. The thought of stepping back into that world is jarring. You don't know if you're ready, if you ever could be again. You've grown accustomed to the comfort of being ordinary. But there's another part of you, the part that was forged in battle, that won't let go. The part that knows the value of purpose, of fighting for something greater than yourself. But when the phone rings again, it's a reality check. The commander's name flashes on your screen. You stare at it for a moment, feeling a strange sense of hesitation in your chest. You don't know what he wants now, but you know one thing for sure: you can't ignore the call forever. You answer, the voice on the other end familiar and steady. Did you think about it? The commander's voice is calm, but there's an edge to it, something almost urgent. I have, you reply, the words coming out slower than you expect. There's a pause, and you can almost hear him weighing your response, deciding what to say next. I won't lie to you, he says finally. It's not an easy life. You know that better than anyone. But if you decide to come back, we'll be counting on you. And you won't just be one of us. You'll be a part of something bigger, something that's worth fighting for. His words hit you like a ton of bricks. You can feel the pressure building in your chest, the familiar feeling of responsibility creeping back in. It's not just about you anymore. It's about the people who need you, the people who still see something in you that you're not sure you still see in yourself. Can I think about it more? You ask, trying to keep your voice steady. You already know the answer, but you need more time. Time to wrestle with this decision, to push away the doubt that is gnawing at you from the inside. The commander pauses again, this time longer than before. Of course, take your time. But know this, it's a decision you won't be able to put off forever. You've already proven yourself once, but there's more to do, and I think you're the right person for the job. You don't reply immediately. What do you say to that? How do you respond to someone who believes in you more than you believe in yourself? Finally, you speak, your voice soft but firm. I'll let you know soon. You end the call and sit there for a moment, phone in hand. The silence is deafening, but in it you realize something. This decision isn't just about returning to the battlefield, to the dangers and the chaos. It's about reclaiming something for yourself. It's about finding your purpose again, that spark that once drove you, that made everything seem so much more important than the noise of the world. It's been years since you felt that fire. It's been years since you felt like your life had meaning beyond the mundane. And now, for the first time, you wonder, what if that spark still exists? What if that purpose is still out there, waiting for you to find it? You stand up, your legs feeling like lead, and walk to the window. The sky is overcast, the air heavy with the promise of rain. You can't help but think that maybe, just maybe, this storm isn't one you can avoid. You turn back to the table where your phone rests. There's something haunting about the silence of your house, the quiet ticking of the clock on the wall. For a moment, you just listen, trying to hear past the echoes of your own thoughts. And then you make a decision. Not to return to the military, not just yet anyway, but to take the next step toward understanding what that call means for you. You pick up the phone again, scrolling through the messages that are still waiting. You respond to a few old friends, veterans who have walked the same path you have. Some of them have moved on to new lives, others are still fighting in ways you can't even imagine. But one thing is certain, they all understand. They all know the tug of war between the past and the present. Your response is simple, but it carries the weight of your decision. I'm still figuring it out, but I'll keep you posted. As you send the message, a strange sense of peace settles over you. You don't have all the answers, and maybe you never will. But the decision is yours to make, and that is the one thing you can control. You take a deep breath, letting the weight of the world lift off your shoulders just a little. You've been through more than most people could ever imagine. And no matter what happens next, you will find your way. Because that's what warriors do. They find their path, no matter how many obstacles are in the way. The next few days drag on. The world outside seems to move at a pace you can't keep up with. You go through the motions of your daily life, work, errands, meals, the small distractions that fill your time. But inside, your thoughts keep circling back to that moment at the range, the words of the commander, the promise of purpose and belonging. The reality of the decision looms over you like a dark cloud, threatening to burst at any moment. It's hard to ignore the call, to push it aside when everything in your life has felt so normal, so quiet. It's easy to forget what it felt like to be a part of something larger than yourself, to have a mission that wasn't just about survival. You miss the camaraderie, the certainty of knowing exactly what was expected of you. But then again, there's something beautiful about the life you've built. You walk through the familiar motions of each day, trying to keep your mind busy, but nothing seems to distract you for long. Every decision feels like it matters now. What will you do? Can you really go back to that life, to the risks, the constant uncertainty? And if you do, what does that mean for everything else you've worked so hard to build? Then, another call comes. This one you've been waiting for. You don't even have to look at the caller ID to know it's the commander. You can feel the weight of the conversation before you even say a word. Have you thought about it? His voice is as steady as ever, but there's an undercurrent to it now, an urgency. "I have," you reply, your voice a little hoarse, as if it's been waiting for this moment too. There's a long pause on the other end of the line, and for a brief moment, you can hear the sound of the commander moving around. You picture him, tall and broad, pacing in some quiet office, waiting for your answer. His next words come slowly, carefully. "You've got to understand, this isn't just about getting you back into a uniform. This is about taking what you know, what you've lived, and putting it to use again. The skills, the discipline, the strength you've got inside you, that's what we need. Not the soldier you once were, but the person you are now. There's something inside you that I've seen, and it's exactly what we need to move forward. But only if you're willing to put everything else aside and focus on the mission." His words are sharp, cutting through the fog of indecision that's clouded your mind. He's right, in a way. This isn't about returning to a battlefield. It's about finding a new way to serve, a new role, a new purpose. But the question still remains. Are you ready to step back into a life that was once yours, a life filled with so many unknowns? Are you willing to sacrifice the peace you've worked so hard to find? "I don't know," you say quietly, the words carrying a weight that feels heavier than you expected. "I've worked hard to build something here, a life that's mine. I'm not sure I can just throw that away." "I'm not asking you to throw anything away," the commander replies, his voice softer now. "I'm asking you to find something new, to find the part of you that still believes in the mission. If you can do that, then you've already won. I'm not asking for a decision today, but I need you to think about it. The world is changing, and there's work to be done. People like you, people who have been there, done that, are needed now more than ever." The words hang in the air between you, but there's a quiet finality to them that makes your chest tighten. You can't ignore it. This isn't just about your peace, your life anymore. It's about something larger, something you can't quite define. But you feel it, deep in your bones. After the call ends, you sit in silence, the world outside your window moving as if nothing has changed. But inside, everything feels different. It's hard to describe this sensation. Like a spark, a flame that was nearly snuffed out, suddenly flickering back to life. It's not the fire you remember from your military days. It's quieter, subtler, and it's impossible to ignore. You think about the friends you've lost, the people you've left behind, the things you thought you could never go back to. You think about the sense of duty, of purpose that you once held so fiercely. It's a strange thing remembering how it felt to be part of something larger, something bigger than yourself. You thought you left that behind when you walked away from the military, when you traded in your uniform for the quiet life you have now. But the truth is, you never really left it. The fire, the sense of duty, it's still there, buried beneath the surface. And no matter how much you try to ignore it, it keeps burning, small and steady, waiting for you to acknowledge it. There's no easy answer. The life you've built is important to you, and the thought of walking away from it is terrifying. But the pull of duty, of something larger than yourself, is hard to ignore. What would it mean to walk away from the commander's offer? Would you regret it? Would you always wonder what could have been? In the end, the choice is yours. You can step back into that world, find a new way to serve, to find purpose again. Or you can stay, continue on the path you've carved for yourself, and never look back. But one thing is certain, the decision won't be easy. No matter which path you choose, you'll carry the weight of it with you forever. And whatever you decide, you'll be facing the same question you've been asking yourself for years. Who are you now? What do you stand for? You don't have the answer yet. But as you sit there in the silence, you know that soon enough, the answer will come. It's the kind of decision that keeps you up at night. The kind of decision that tugs at every fiber of your being, challenging everything you thought you knew about yourself. It's not just about the past, about the uniform you once wore. It's about the person you've become and the future you want to shape. You spent so many years trying to move forward, to leave that life behind. But now, as the call grows louder, you wonder if you can ever truly escape it, or if you even want to. The days pass, each one a blur of routine, but the weight of the decision never lifts. It lingers, like a shadow that follows you everywhere. You find yourself staring off into space during meetings, zoning out during conversations, lost in thought. It's the kind of decision that refuses to be ignored. You spend long hours reflecting on what the commander said, on the path that's been offered to you. You've been out of the game for a while, living in a world that doesn't require you to be sharp, to be on edge, to be ready for anything at any moment. But the commander was right about one thing. You've still got it inside you. The skills, the discipline, the focus, it's all still there, just waiting for a reason to come back to life. And then there's the reality of the life you've built. The friends you've made, the quiet moments you've shared, the simple joys of living without the constant pressure of duty hanging over you. It's a peaceful existence, but is it fulfilling? Can you truly be content knowing that a part of you is still waiting for something more? It's a question you keep coming back to. The desire for peace, for normalcy, pulls at you, but so does the call to purpose, to something greater. Can you have both? Can you keep the quiet life and still answer the call to serve? You know, deep down, the answer isn't simple. There's no clear path forward. There's no perfect solution. But there is one thing you've learned from all your years of service. When the call comes, you don't ignore it. You don't turn away. You face it head on with everything you've got. It's late one night when you finally make up your mind. You've spent hours pacing around your living room, the weight of the decision pressing down on you with every step. You stop, standing still for the first time in what feels like forever. The answer is clear now, not because it's the easiest choice, but because it's the one that feels right. It's the one that honors the person you were and the person you've become. You pick up the phone, your hands steady despite the nerves that are twisting in your stomach. You dial the commander's number, feeling the sense of finality with each ring. He picks up after the second ring. You've made a decision. His voice is calm, steady, like he already knows. "I have," you say, taking a deep breath. You don't need to say more. He knows the weight of what this decision means. He knows the road you're about to walk. There's a long pause on the other end of the line. For a moment, the world seems to hold its breath. And then, finally, the commander speaks. "Good. We'll be waiting for you. There's a place for you here, if you want it. And I think you do." "I do," you reply, your voice steady now, more certain than it's been in days. "I'm ready." And just like that, the decision is made. It's not about going back to the person you once were. It's about moving forward, about finding a way to carry everything you've learned, everything you've become, into a new chapter of your life. You don't know exactly what that will look like, but for the first time in days, the uncertainty doesn't seem so heavy. It feels right. There's no grand moment of triumph, no dramatic speech. There's only the quiet certainty that comes with knowing you've made the right choice for yourself. The journey ahead will be difficult, full of challenges and sacrifices, but you know you're not alone. You've been here before, and you'll find your way again. As you hang up the phone, the weight that's been pressing down on your chest lifts, just a little. It's not gone completely, but it's lighter now, manageable. The decision has been made, and that's something you can carry with you. You walk to the window, looking out at the night sky. The stars are bright, distant, but constant. You think about the future, about the path that lies ahead. It's uncertain, sure, but that's part of the appeal, isn't it? The unknown, the challenge. It's always been the thing that called to you, the thing that pulled you forward, even when you didn't want to answer. For the first time in a long while, you feel a sense of peace settle in. Not because the journey ahead will be easy, but because you know you're ready for it. You're ready to step back into the world, to find purpose again. It's not about seeking glory or recognition. It's about finding something deeper, something that only you can define. And as you stand there, looking out into the night, you realize one thing. The journey may be long, and the road may be difficult, but you'll never stop moving forward. Because that's who you are. And no matter where it takes you, that's the one thing you'll always carry with you.